Oh look, it's absolutely lashing. So what could it possibly mean? I haven't seen rain in weeks, and now it's absolutely lashing. It's because it's Triumph test ride day. It's gonna have to be rain mode. I took the GT out, the GT Pro I should say, lashing. I took the Rally out, lashing. So I'm going to test drive the new Tiger 1200 and see what I think about it. My existing Tiger 1200 is coming up to its 5th year anniversary. Time to get shot, replace it. I went to the show at the NEC, mightily impressed with the new bike. So let's go and see what I think about it. I'm going to have to get wet, aren't I? Yeah. So here we are, I'm off to Dublin Triumph. I thought I'd go on my bike to make sure I get a good comparison, a back-to-back comparison. So even though it was nice and clean, what you going to do? Bikes are getting dirty. So I want to go on this to get the impact of how much the weight has changed and the weight distribution. I know it's going to be significant. Now I've only sat on the thing statically, but I've not ridden it, and I've not ridden it with the preload in its normal riding position. My one fear is they've made the bike a little bit taller. The Rally is completely out of my reach, completely. But the GT and GT Pro and GT Explorer, they're a bit lower, but they're still taller compared to this bike. And I've lowered this 20 mil. So there's a potential. This lady's coming all the way around the roundabout. You should have been in my lane, love. You can't get upset about these things because it happens about 10 times a day. Hello, she acknowledged that. So I'm a bit concerned that the new GT Pro is going to be too tall for me, and I've discounted other bikes on that basis without even having a test ride. But because I love Triumph as a brand, I want to give it a go. See, look at that now, straight down on this little piece of motorway here, electric screen up. I will miss an electric screen when I get rid of this bike. I'm not getting rid of this because there's anything wrong with it. It's just coming up to its 5-year anniversary, and I fancy a new bike. Well, here's the GT Pro. I wouldn't go for the Explorer. I don't need a big tank. I put the seat in the high position because I need, being an old man with creaky legs, I need all the hip help I can get. So I don't want to ride this bike with the seat in the low position. I want to make sure I can fit it with the seat in the high position. I think I'm going to ditch my glasses. I'm not going to see anything out of them. So, keyless. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about keyless. Right, first impressions. Okay, seat in the high position. With the sag, okay. With the sag, I don't know what it is. The sag. Okay, this bike is much lower than the outgoing, even though it's rated higher. Sport. I better go rain, had I? For now. Rain. I'm in rain. So in Triumph fashion then, this in rain mode, this suspension will be set up with fairly soft damping. Well, this feels like a Tiger 900. Okay, the quick shifter is as brilliant as it is on the outgoing Tiger 1200. I think it works as well on all the Triumphs actually. You can use your quick shifter at slow speed in the low gears around town. I'm not expecting the brakes to be anything but perfectly good. Being Brembos and all that. They were good on the last bike, and, well, they were brilliant on the last bike. They were brilliant on my current bike. I haven't bought this yet. So the screen is quite a lot smaller than my current bike. The XCA which I have had a touring screen, so it's a bit bigger, but this seems a bit narrower. I'll see what it's like once I'm on a faster road. I don't expect it's going to be that bad. Well, the steering's very good. That was much more agile just around that roundabout. Now, that's new tyres for you, of course. So, okay, it's a bit more, it's not as smooth. I'm not talking about vibration, you know, there's a bit of a low frequency buzz to the engine, but that's the firing order, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot more character to that. The switchgear is very familiar to me. People say it's a whole new bike. It's not. The switchgear is carried over, but that's the only thing. Will I go with this exit? I will. Let's do a bit of town driving. I don't mind test driving it in the piss and rain actually. It'll give me a good idea. Gee, they had the Tiger 900 Rally Pro in the Sandstorm in stock. Yeah, that looked really smart. Really smart. This weight loss from the existing 1200 is something else. It's something else. So you have to give a hefty deposit to test ride these, a couple of grand on a credit card. So if you trash it, that's their insurance excess covered. So you can't go silly on these test ride bikes. It doesn't feel like a 1200, or I should say it doesn't feel like my current 1200, which is probably one of the heavier ones in the class, or maybe even the heaviest in terms of adventure bikes anyway. Dash is nice and clean. I like a clean, uncluttered dash. And on my old Tiger 1200, I would have decluttered the screen, the information tray, taken loads of things off. Like, you know, you don't need to know the temperature of the engine unless there's something wrong with it, you know. Switch gear's the same, so you can instantly come off your existing Tiger straight onto this. Let's go down Old Bourne, down Bonabrina that way. Pick up a bit of the Wicklow Mountains maybe. Well, I've only been on this bike 10 minutes. First impressions. Oh, very manoeuvrable, very manoeuvrable. He's got the bike set up. I think the indicators are set in. I've never been to this before, right? Oh, hill hold's turned off. We'll turn that on. Indicators are in manual. We'll set those to. Oh, there's only. Okay, there's self-cancel. Yeah, they weren't set to. We won't reset that. So riding modes, all to default. Okay, so the last person who was here hasn't screwed it up. Let's have a look. ABS road. Yeah. Map, rain map, that's the throttle. Traction control, rain, suspension, comfort. Okay, so this works in the same way as the old Tiger, in that there's a damping rate associated with every rider mode, but you can change it whatever you like on the fly, which is the big difference. So that I really like that about Triumph. You can set your damping to whatever you want. Yeah, it's much easier to change direction on this bike. Well, which you'd expect, I guess. The design is typically Triumph, you know, sideways on. There's not a mass of cables or a mass of different sort of bits and bobs, you know, it's clean, I will say that. The screen's doing a good job at these speeds. Clutch is very light. And on the old Triumph, the clutch bite point was real lastminute.com. I don't find that like that. If it had been, it would have put me right off the bike, because I had enough of it, to be honest. I know you're only using it when you pull away, but without modifying the levers, it was a pain in the arse. So the clutch feel is nicer. I like that. Hello, sheep. Sheep alert. Just checking out the new Tiger. Is that right? You can really feel that new firing order at low speed when you're putting a bit of fuel on that engine. This will be the closest to off-roading I ever get. I'm no off-roader, and the rally wouldn't be for me. Well, it'd be just far too tall for me anyway. Oh, that's lovely. The rain's stopped a bit now. I was going to say it doesn't feel like a 1200, but then I remembered I'm in rain mode. So it's probably, I don't know, checked to something like 100 horsepower or something. Ah, still a lot, mind. So, enough power for a pillion. Yeah, definitely. So, link brakes off the front brake like the last bike. So far, vibrations haven't worried me in the slightest. At this stage, the engine has just been given a bit of character, a bit more character. I don't mind losing a little bit of that smoothness from my bike. I know I'm in rain mode, but you wouldn't be able to use full power on roads like this anyway. Oh, that quick shifter. Bloody hell, Triumph know how to do a quick shifter. That's where hill hold would have come in handy. Let's have a look over here. It's pull over and see what we think of this bike. It's wireless. I'm not bothered about bloody wireless, I'll be honest with you. But you can't seem to get non-wireless at these 1200cc sort of bikes. It looks well. It looks well. I think the LED at the front's a little bit non-committal. You know, a bit of a shape, but you know, that's kind of being picky. I wouldn't care about cornering lights. I'm assuming these things. I'm assuming it has it, possibly doesn't, I don't know, but if it does, it doesn't matter. I don't go around driving at night time unless I get stuck out at night time. Good looking bike. Good looking bike. I would just add lower crash bars. Yeah, just add lower crash bars. Completely different beast. Completely different beast. Exhaust looks good. I wouldn't change anything there. I'm not wanting to change. It's a nice stance on the bike. TFT's nice and clean. I'll be honest, it's not super, you know, everything in your face, which I actually quite like. Sometimes I think there's just too much info thrown back at you. You don't need to know half the shit, you know, unless there's something wrong. I'm in a quite compliant suspension mode at the moment. What I like about this, if you put in a pillion and a bunch of luggage, you just whack the damping up to sport. They call it sport. It's just adding more damping. And you control your bike. Yeah. That's good looking. Compact. I'd lose the thing. I don't think it's got a hill hold. Funnily enough, it's a feature when I first got my other Tiger. I said, what do I need hill hold for? But when I went out to absolutely loaded up to the gunnels, it's a feature that came in really handy. So I need to check that. And of course, this one doesn't have the heated seats. They're optional. I'd almost be tempted to go to the base model, stick on cruise and a quick shifter, and be done with it. Almost be tempted, because you'll still be getting that great engine, that great suspension, and those great brakes. Let's see. There's a screen protector on there. That screen looks nicer than that in reality. Very good, Tiger. Welcome. Yes, welcome. This engine actually reminds me of how playful the Pan America engine was. I'd be sorely tempted by that bike if it just had a better carrying capacity. And it's mainly because I'm large. But not mainly, it is because you're large. All that top heaviness feel is gone. I've got about half a tank of fuel, so I don't suspect that's going to get much worse with a full tank of fuel. Yeah, I think they've answered the questions that the owners were asking. I'm getting a bit more wind noise, but clip on the top would solve that, just like the last one. We'll go past.